What are the aspects you should consider while choosing a venue in Italy for your Indian wedding? Hello everyone, I'm Svetlana from Best Indian Weddings Italy, the first and only wedding planning agency in Italy specialized in Indian weddings. Every day I help Indian brides and grooms-to-be realize their authentic Indian celebrations in the most beautiful country in the world. I'm running this series of videos called SOS Indian Weddings in Italy with useful tips and advice that you won't find anywhere else. And if you're looking to host your Indian destination wedding in Italy, then please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to always keep updated with the new videos every week. Today I'm talking about the aspects you should consider while choosing a venue in Italy for your Indian wedding. The choice of the wedding venue is one of the most important decisions you would make for your wedding. It's where the magic will happen. When you start looking at venues, everything becomes real. Your wedding plans become real. It's no longer just scrolling beautiful photos, but it's picturing yourself in that precise venue on your own wedding with your guests. Fortunately for you, in Italy you are just spoiled for choice of the venues. On the other hand, it might be exhausting going through millions of photos. You may end up going to confirm with the wrong venue just because you feel overwhelmed with so much choice. So let's see together the most important aspects to evaluate to make sure you confirm with the right one. First of all, you need to verify the capacity of the venue and the accommodation on site. I'm going to speak in greater detail about venues with large accommodation on site in the next video. However, it's important that you decide from the beginning if you want an all-in-one venue where to stay with all your guests and hold all of your events, or if you would prefer to keep accommodation and events separately. You could even decide on accommodating just a part of your guests at the wedding venue and then let other guests stay elsewhere. It's up to you. But please decide on that before you start looking at venues to avoid wasting your time and energy. My only suggestion, being an expert in planning Indian weddings in Italy, is to carefully map the area in case you would like to accommodate only a part of your guests at the wedding venue. This is extremely important for large parties, as your wedding venue could be located in a remote area where there aren't large hotels nearby, but just Airbnb or private villas. So make sure your guests have good options for accommodations before confirming with your wedding venue. And then the capacity of the venue. I mean the spaces you would use for your wedding events. Of course, it's understood that you have decided on the number of your guests beforehand. It's not unheard of that even large resorts with 200 or 300 rooms have small event spaces. Maybe they have that breathtaking terrace for the ceremony, but it can only accommodate 50 guests or so. And if for a non-Indian ceremony it could even work, because half of the guests could remain standing as the ceremony lasted 15 to 20 minutes. It wouldn't work for an Indian wedding, which lasts for 2 or 3 hours. Everyone has to have a seat, and your ceremony area has to be large enough to accommodate all of your guests and your mandap. A similar situation goes with the reception area. At Italian weddings and many non-Indian weddings, the dancing is scheduled after the dinner. So basically people eat first and dance after. And usually there is a separated dancing area where the party moves after the dinner. It doesn't work this way at Indian weddings, and your guest would expect to dance also during the reception. So it's important that the dedicated area is large enough for both eating and dancing. And of course, the variety of the spaces is also to check. You would likely have many events split into several days, and you wouldn't want to use always the same spaces. Unless you go with a separate venue for the wedding day, Your all-in-one venue should have different spaces where to set different events, so that your guests don't get bored with the same settings reused many times. Also, some events you pause a food function immediately after, and for some others the food must be set up at the same space. Depending on that, the capacity of a space can work or not work. Please bear that in mind and check with the venue every single space based on your needs. All of the above must be verified not only outdoors but also indoors. Yes, we are speaking about the famous Plan B, which is so often underestimated. Unfortunately, no one can guarantee good weather on your wedding day, no matter the season you choose. I always suggest to be prepared for all the situations, so that you don't risk to ruin your wedding. And if a venue doesn't have indoor spaces large enough to accommodate your ceremony and in a separated room your wedding lunch, and the only possibility you have is renting a marquee, probably it would be better to choose a different venue. I know it could be hard to renounce a gorgeous venue with amazing outdoor spaces just because it doesn't have a good Plan B. You could even check the price of the marquee and then see if you can put aside this amount without compromising your wedding budget. Now, the cost of the venue. Actually, this aspect is often decisive. You must know if a venue fits or not in your budget. I want to dwell more on this aspect because it's not always clear immediately if a venue is out of your budget. Of course, if from their first quote you already see that it's too expensive, you discard it. But sometimes their standard fee could even appear feasible at first glance and you decide to go ahead. Please don't forget that you're planning an Indian wedding, which is different from standard European weddings, and the provided quote will likely be referred to an event structured differently from yours. First of all, you would likely have more than one event per day and potentially more than one day of events. A venue could calculate a certain amount of hours included in the price, and then the additional hours are to pay extra. You might be charged more for using some specific spaces, as it's often the case that not all the spaces are included in the base price. So, all of that must be verified with a venue from the beginning to get a more accurate quote. Another important aspect to check is if a venue has exclusive service providers you're obligated to use. Sometimes it's only the case for a food provider, as they may have in-house restaurant or catering company. And sometimes they may present you a list of exclusive providers, especially when it comes to luxury venues. So please verify that before signing with a venue, as it could be the case that those providers cost more than you expect them to be and would drive you out of budget. And lastly, the style of a venue. You must have a clear idea if you want a medieval castle, a historic residence, a contemporary hotel, or a rustic villa. As I said, in Italy you're in luck as there is a huge choice of venues of different styles. So it's important that you only look at those venues that correspond to your idea of the style and don't waste your time by looking at thousands of venues that you will find online. That's all for today. Thank you for watching this video that I hope can truly help you with planning your amazing Indian wedding in Italy. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to my channel, follow Best Indian Weddings Italy on Facebook and Instagram, comment in the posts and I will be happy to answer. See you next week!